Hey you guys, I'm going to give you a little bit of a demo on how we are going to transfer our images off of our memory cards, the little card that plugs into your camera, transfer them onto a storage device like a thumb drive, external hard drive, or the desktop of your computer, and then how we are going to import those into Lightroom so that we can organize them, catalog them, and edit them. So, first thing I need you to do is eject your memory card, right? So here's your little memory card right here, from your camera. If you're working on an Apple product like a iMac or a MacBook Pro, there's a little slot in the side of your computer or in the back of your computer, depending on what you have, that this memory card slides right into. Okay, if you do not have this is called an SD card. If you don't have an SD card slot in your computer, you can get what is called a card reader. It's a little, it looks like a little thumb drive, and it plugs. Let me actually see if I have one right here. Maybe I do. Maybe I don't. Nope, I don't. It plugs into the side of a computer through a USB port, and then this plugs into the card reader, and you can transfer your images over. You can also do this by plugging your camera into the side of your computer using the included cable that goes from camera to computer. Okay, so let's move forward. Let me shrink me down into the corner here. Alright, so before we move forward with Lightroom, I really want to touch base on something that's really important. One of the most confusing and challenging things for new students to learn and understand about Lightroom is it's a little bit of a different software in that you don't ever have to hit File Save. Okay, you never have to hit File Save. That doesn't exist because what you're doing is you are creating a pathway for Lightroom to read your images. Your images actually never are in Lightroom. Lightroom just shows you a preview of your photos. That's super confusing, but don't worry, we're going to touch back on this like throughout the whole semester essentially. So the reason I'm telling you about this right now is when we're setting up how Lightroom communicates with our computers and finds our images, we have to have what is called a source folder. We have to have one single source folder. It's very, very important that we only have one folder. No subfolders in it, just one folder. So I have right here on my desktop my external hard drive. I'm going to double click on that to open it. And inside of it, I have my source folder. So I just made a folder by going File, New Folder. I'll just make another one really quick and call it, always call mine RAWs. And what that's telling me is, oops, it's not going to let me because I already have one named that. Let's just pretend that I just made that. Why I always call it RAWs is this is where I'm going to put all of my raw images. So you neat freaks and organizers out there are going to, maybe this is going to be a little bit like fingernails on a chalkboard for you, but you got to trust me here. Sorry, let me get rid of this little notice that pops up. So why I say that is inside my raw folder, I just have all of these raw images. I'm going to switch the views here. It's just a bunch of raw images. These are not organized in any way. I go out there in the world, I make more photos, I drag them and drop them in here. There's no organization. There could be baby photos in here, there could be camping trip photos, there could be some of my photos of my truck, whatever. It's all just piled in there. So it seems a little bit like No Rules, a little bit like Woodstock or something, just by dumping stuff in there. But that's really, really important. We don't ever do organization at this level. Okay, so this level is just dumping raw images into a folder. That seems a little Wild West, but trust me, I'm going to show you how we organize once we get into Lightroom. So I'm going to show you how I'm just going to drag in some photos. So these are all photos that I have already in my raw folder. Notice there's no subfolder in here. I'm just dumping images straight in here. I'm not organizing them. Now, my camera, these are actually photos taken with two different cameras. They have numbering conventions. And so your camera doesn't write two of the exact same files. So these are all the names of the files that the camera wrote. Okay? So it doesn't write two of these files. It does a 33, then a 34, then a 35. It will never rewrite this file. Okay? So, but you notice that this camera down here it's the same brand of camera, but a different camera. So this one starts with DSC, where this camera up here starts with space DSC. So even if there's the same four numbers at the back end, this space delineates the two. So I'm going to just, for for this demo, I am going to show you how I'm going to drag and drop photos in here. So this is my existing library of raw photos, and now I went out and took a couple more photos that I want to add in there. So up here I have my memory card that shows up once I plug my memory card into the side of my computer. Sometimes when you do this, and you're using, I don't know if it happens on a Windows computer, but on a Mac, sometimes when you do this, what will open is the Photos program. So Photos is like a cataloging program that comes standard on a Mac. You never want to use that program. Okay, so if you plug your card in and Windows opens, or I'm sorry, not Windows, Photos opens, you just want to go up here and go, Photos, quit. Don't ever bring your photos into the Photos program, because the Photos program automatically resizes your images to be these tiny little things that are going to display good on Facebook and look horrible anywhere else. So just don't ever use the standard software that comes on your computer. You're in this class because we're learning Lightroom, which is a professional tool. So this right here, just to clarify, right, we have two things here: my external hard drive right here and my memory card that's from my camera. And I'm going to get the information off of this memory card and put it into this folder, RAWs, that lives on my external hard drive. So let me double click on this. So two windows here. Let me spread them out so we can see them all. I'm going to shrink this one down maybe. Okay, so your memory card programs with these three folders: DCIM, MP-Root, and Private. What the MP-Root and Private are, I have no idea. If you do, let me know. DCIM is the folder where the images are stored once you take them. So I'm going to double click into DCIM. 100 ms DCF, that's the camera that I used. Click in that, and here's my images right here. So I have a couple images that I know, right? If I scroll down here, it ends, my files that I have right now ends at 7522. So that means I don't have 7523 all the way through 7528. So I'm going to highlight those by hitting, by clicking on it, holding Shift, and selecting the bottom one. That highlights all of those files. And I'm going to click it, hold my cursor down, and drag it over to this folder and drop it. And it'll say up here, copying the 6 images to RAWs. It's going to take a second or two. They're kind of big files. So we'll let that go for a second. It's estimating the time remaining. And I'll have a handout for how, these little simple things like how to select multiple images and move them and stuff like that. So, all right, we're almost there. All right, so it copied them over. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to close my memory card. This is my memory card. I don't need that anymore because I just copied those files over to here. So now I have a copy of what's on here. It doesn't delete the files from here. You have to delete these files in your camera, and we'll talk about that later. So let me eject my memory card. You don't ever want to work off of your memory card. Your memory card is a pretty unstable storage device, where an external hard drive, or the hard drive on your computer, is a stable storage device. Okay, so let me just close this window now. So now all I'm dealing with is my external hard drive, and if I click in that, I have one folder in here, and it says RAWs. If I click in that, it's all my raw images. There's no rhyme or reason why they're in here. They're just all my raw images. So this RAWs folder is going to be our source folder for our Lightroom catalog. So I'm going to have you guys check back in one moment to the next video, and we are going to be in the actual Lightroom interface, and I'll show you how to import your photos from this source folder into Lightroom. Okay, see you soon.